Hi there. Are you ready for tonight's story? Well, I'm kind of excited tonight because our Bishop Key, found out that I was reading stories to you, and he recommended this one. It's one of his favorites. It's called Gertrude McFuzz, and it's by Dr. Seuss. Are you ready? There once was a girl bird named Gertrude McFuzz, and she had the smallest plain tail ever was. One droopy droop feather, that's all that she had, and oh, that one feather made Gertrude so sad. For there was another young bird that she knew, a fancy young birdie named Loo, and instead of one feather behind, she had two. Poor Gertrude, whenever she happened to spy Miss Loo flying by in the sky, she got very jealous. She frowned, and she pouted. Then one day she got awfully mad, and she shouted, "This just isn't fair. I have one, she has two. I must have a tail just like Loo." So she flew to her uncle, a doctor named Dake, whose office was high in a tree by the lake, and she cried, "Uncle Doctor, oh, please do you know of some kind of pill that will make my tail grow?" "Tut, tut," said the doctor, "such talk. How absurd. Your tail is just right for your kind of a bird." Then Gertrude had tantrums. She raised such a din that finally her uncle, the doctor, gave in, and he told her just where she could find such a pill, on a pillberry vine on the top of the hill. "Oh, thank you," chirped Gertrude McFuzz, and she flew right straight to the hill where the pillberry grew. Yes, there was the vine, and as soon as she saw it, she plucked off a berry. She started to gnaw it. It tasted just awful, almost made her sick, but she wanted that tail, so she swallowed it quick. Then she felt something happen. She felt a small twitch as if she'd been tapped down behind by a switch. And Gertrude looked round, and she cheered. It was true, 2 feathers, exactly like Loo. Then she got an idea. "Now I know what I'll do. I'll grow a tail better than Loo. These pills that grow feathers are working just fine," so she nibbled another one off of the vine. She felt a new twitch, and then Gertrude yelled, "Whee! Miss Lala has only just 2. I have 3. When Loo sees this beautiful stuff, she'll fall right down flat on her face, sure enough. I'll show her who's pretty, I certainly will. Why, I'll make my tail even prettier still." She snatched at those berries that grew on that vine. She gobbled down 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And she didn't stop eating, young Gertrude McFuzz, till she'd eaten 3 dozen. And that's all that there was. Then the feathers popped out with a zing and a zang. They blossomed like flowers that bloom in the spring. All fit for a queen, what a sight to behold! They sparkled like diamonds and gumdrops and gold, like silk, like spaghetti, like satin, like lace. They burst out like rockets all over the place. They waved in the air and they swished in the breeze, and some were as long as the branches of trees. And still they kept growing. They popped and they popped until long about sundown, when finally they stopped. "And now," giggled Gertrude, "the next thing to do is to fly right straight home and show Loo. And when Lala sees these, why, her face will get red, and she'll let out a scream, and she'll fall right down dead." Then she spread out her wings to take off the ground, but with all of those feathers, she weighed 90 pounds. She yanked, and she pulled, and she let out a squawk. But that bird couldn't fly, couldn't run, couldn't walk. And all through that night, she was stuck on that hill. And Gertrude McFuzz might be stuck up there still if her good Uncle Dake hadn't heard the girl yelp. He rushed to her rescue and brought along help. To lift Gertrude up almost broke all of their beaks, and to fly her back home it took almost 2 weeks. And then it took almost another week more to pull out those feathers. My, Gertrude was sore. And finally, When all of the pulling was done, Gertrude behind her again just had one. That one little feather she had as a starter. But now that's enough, because now she is smarter.
Poor Gertrude. She was so jealous of Lolly. She thought she wasn't good enough because she didn't have 2 tail feathers like Lolly had. She wanted more tail feathers than what Lolly had, even though she really didn't need them. And she got greedy because she was so jealous, because deep down she thought she wasn't good enough. She got so greedy that she ate way more pills than she should have, and she got what she thought she wanted, which was more tail feathers, but when she got them, she discovered she couldn't do anything. The tail feathers made her too heavy even to move, and she had to learn the lesson that what she thought she wanted was not good for her and was not what she needed. To want something that someone else has so bad that we get really, really jealous, so bad that we don't like the person who has what we don't have, that's called to covet. That's a word that's in the Bible, to covet. And one of the 10 Commandments says we should never covet. We should not covet because, like Gertrude, it makes us selfish. It makes us think only of ourselves. Like Gertrude, it makes us feel deep down that we're not good enough, that we're not satisfied with who God created us to be. You know, some people are so desperate to change the way they look that they let doctors cut on them and stuff, and some of them wind up looking like they're wearing masks all the time, like Darth Vader or something. It's really sad. It's also bad to covet because as long as we're jealous of others, we can never have a good relationship with them. We can never be friends. We can never care about them or hope that they would care about us. And so Jesus says, keep the commandments and don't covet. You know, when Jesus lived among us, he didn't have anything. He once joked that foxes had holes and birds had nests, and he didn't even have a bed. He didn't need one. Because you see, it's not what we have, and it's not what we look like that matters. It's what we do. And what we're supposed to do is to show compassion and kindness and care for others. And it doesn't matter if we're tall or short or fat or thin or light or dark or have 1 tail feather or 2 tail feathers. As long as we have enough to do what we're supposed to do, then we have all we need and we should be grateful. You know, Jesus told us to keep the commandments because it's a way for us to get along better. It's a way for us to have a better world. It's a way for us to have a better life. And do you know why Jesus would want us to live better and have a better life? Sure you do. Because he loves us this much. So God bless you. God bless you that you remember always that you are the beloved child he created you to be. And good night.